The devastation that the tsunami caused was huge. There were 200,000 people who died. There were 800 health facilities that were affected. Tourism got affected. There was thankfully no disease outbreak. Water and sanitation had been handled. There were many NGOs who came to our assistance, international as well as national. There were many UN agencies that immediately got into action. Member states themselves, the national governments, were at the center of response. Our role was to assist them and to see where the gaps were and to comply with their requests on a very urgent basis. We had set up a control room here in the Southeast Asia Regional Office. We also had control rooms in every country which was affected. And these control rooms functioned for 24 hours because there were various requests coming in, there were various queries that were being posed by journalists from around the world, and we did not want anyone to convey anything which was not accurate, because I feel at such moments it's extremely important to avoid panic and to give people the right information. And that is what was really done. The response that was done, and WHO was at the center of it, was really unprecedented. There were 130 people who were deployed in 1 month. We tried to get people from all over. We tried to reach out to other regions. We even went beyond the regions to wherever we could get help, we tried to get help. And this help was really the help that countries needed. They were at the center of it. Our country offices transmitted these requests to us, and we then saw that we could send the right kind of people to help manage this disaster. They are certainly much better prepared today, and this has been demonstrated by the kind of response countries have made when there have been natural disasters in the region. Just look at the floods that we've had in the region. There has been Uttarakhand. India's response was really very, very good. They didn't ask for any help from anywhere. There have been floods in Thailand, where the response was again above board. We've had floods in other parts of the region, because this is a region which is prone to floods. It is prone to cyclones. It is prone to earthquakes. If you look at the World Disaster Report, which gives the number of disasters each country has had in the last 10 years, it's a report on which is really dealing with it on a decade by decade basis, you would find that the greatest mortality from natural disasters and outbreaks is really in the regions of Southeast Asia region. And therefore, it's extremely important that countries take their response and their preparedness very strongly. We in the region have been pressing more for preparedness. We found even 2 years after we had the tsunami, there was an earthquake in Yogyakarta in 2006, where we found that the response was so much better. And how did we judge that really? Through the early warning systems that were set up, by the evacuation activities that come into play immediately, and the number of dead who are really much lower than what happened at the time of tsunami. So the tsunami, in a way, as we always say, that such disasters cause a lot of havoc, but they also are opportunities, because countries realize that this is an area that they need to look at. And we have found legislation coming up in many countries of our region. We see that national disaster preparedness authorities have been set up in countries of our region, which we feel is a great addition in building capacity in the countries of our region to respond to such disasters. Yes, there was a proposal to set up a fund straight after the tsunami. I remember it came up in a health ministers meeting. Countries felt that when a disaster strikes a country, even for national mechanisms to get into place and to release funds to handle or respond to that disaster takes some time, Minimum, it takes 3 to 4 days. And therefore, there was a proposal from one of the countries of our region. It was the health minister of Sri Lanka, I still remember, who proposed that there should be a fund which should be set up with the regional office. The contributors of the fund would be the member states of the region. However, it would be handled by the regional office. The way it works is this, that if there is a natural disaster and there's a state of emergency in a country of the region, they immediately send a message through the WR to us with a proposal to say how much do they need for that disaster to be able to respond effectively. The cap on this fund is $350,000 and we give it in 2 stages. So just on an email from the WR to me, I can release the first installment of that fund, which is $175,000. For the second release, we look more carefully at how that fund has been spent. And then the second release of $175,000 is made. CRF has been really benefiting all countries of our region. 9 out of 11 countries have asked for CRF, and it has gone to the assistance of countries immediately. Countries value it and they ask us to continue with this fund. We have a committee which has a representative from each country of the region which looks into this fund, sees how it is spent. We have business rules for this fund. So this fund, though managed by the countries, is done in a very transparent manner. There is accountability for it. And in every regional committee, we bring a report to our members to tell them how the fund has been used. And that is where we get an endorsement for the continuation of the fund. We had several lessons learned workshops. It's interesting that after the tsunami, we thought it's extremely important that we should learn on how better to prepare ourselves. The one lesson that I think we learned was preparedness, which was demonstrated later by the way countries handled the disasters that came their way. In these lesson learned workshops, there were 10 benchmarks which came through. These 10 benchmarks show how countries should be prepared. And we have evaluations to see how prepared are countries to handle these kind of disasters. So if you ask me what is the most important lesson, my one word reply would be better prepared.